And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. As always, please like this video. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we are continuing on in our voyage of learning about entrepreneurships, especially from olim, people who've immigrated to Israel. And it's my honor today to bring on the show Rachel Hammer, who is the owner of Sweet by Nature, creating tasty vegan foods. She believes that cooking is a means to creativity. She loves to cook, feed people, and share the gifts that nature provides. Listen to this. This is where it gets really cool. She actually catered desserts for celebrity master chef, which is a reality cooking show, judge, Michal Ansky's wedding. That's very cool. And she herself was a contestant on the Game of Chefs. Very cool. It's my honor to bring to the show Rachel Hammer.
Thank you so much. That was such an amazing introduction. Thank you.
My pleasure. Let's jump right in. So you came to Israel when? Like, when did you make Aliyah and from where?
So I made Aliyah from New Mexico, and yeah, I made it in 2012 officially.
Okay.
I actually had left and come back in a period of time in 2015. So I usually tell people 2015 because I've been here steadily since 2015. But yeah,
Very
officially
cool.
I had made it before.
Probably not a lot of olim from New Mexico. That's my my guess. So that's a very cool.
Yeah, definitely not. There's definitely not even a lot of Jewish people in New Mexico.
No.
But yeah, I made it here.
Very cool. So let's speak about Sweet by Nature. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have a really cool sort of Israeli story, how you were doing something completely different. And then you got to your own business. Can you explain how you got to Sweet by Nature?
Yeah. Wow. I guess it's just a whole lot of connecting on the path. And it will be interesting to see where I go from here. I was working in high tech, and I was working just doing the rat race and not enjoying it, just clocking in the hours, long days, and just disconnected from myself. So when I stopped working in high tech, I was like, okay, that's it. I can't do this anymore. I was really unhappy in it. I started meditating, and I was like, okay, what is it that I want to do? I actually know one day I want to have a food brand, a business that's packaged products that's distributed worldwide. That's one goal that I knew right away from then. That was and also then I was just okay, but what do I do now? I don't know where to go. I need to make money, and I started working. I just had this vision of this vegan cafe that I had passed by a few times, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I thought it would be so much fun to work there. So I started working there, and I was working just at the register, talking with the customers, and I really enjoyed this job. It was totally different from working in a desk and being inside the office all day. It was really fun to interact with people. And I always loved, I had a really big passion for the food they were, the concept that they had there of, vegan and healthy. It wasn't a junky vegan. So it was the food that I love to make, I love to create. And I would always give them different pieces of advice, which they always took, talking, I would always be try this or try that, talking to the kitchen, even though I was working in the front. And they would order desserts. All the desserts came from a company outside, and they would sell them, and they were really nice raw vegan desserts. So the lady that the company decided they're closing their business. And the manager came to me and said, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to order from. It's a problem. Our we can't order from them anymore, they're closing. And I just said, hey, I could do it. And they were like, really? Like, you know how? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I know how. I always like do it at home. Like I could do it. Like, I love it. And so they just gave me like full trust, and they said, okay, so like, after hours, after I worked like full days, I would go in the back to the kitchen alone, and have full creative like ability. They gave me like, they allowed me like full creativity when the restaurant was closed, and I would go in the back and I would create whatever I wanted, really. And it was a really cool opportunity that I had. Also like we would do tastings afterwards, and the Dalal chef and really people that know like flavor and taste and food really, really well. A few people would taste, and then they would tell me, okay, like what they think about it, what they wanted on the menu, what they liked, and they would critique it. So it was a really amazing opportunity. And when I was, from there,
So how did you get to Michal Ansky?
Okay, so how I got to Michal Ansky, I started selling, this was actually like, specifically was lemon bars. I had made, I think the night before, and they were out in the case, and she walks in, and I didn't know who she was, or I wouldn't have known unless someone who was also working there told me, like whispered to me, like, that's Michal Ansky, like the master chef judge. And I was like, really? Like, cool. Like, I don't have a TV at home, so I don't watch any of these, but the longer I have been living here, the more recognizable people become. So like now I could recognize like many different celebrity figures, but here at that time I really wouldn't have known. So I just walked up to her and I told her, hey, I just made these. Can I give one to you? Can you try it? And she took it, she tried it, and she was like, so sweet. She was like she was very specific. Oh, I taste the lemon zest. Oh, this is really, really good. And it was a raw vegan lemon bar. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going right now to the Master Chef meeting for Master Chef. I'm going to take it with me. I want everyone else to try it. And I just was like, at that time, I was like, okay, thanks. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, because I was like trying to figure out like, I don't know. It was really, that was really a cool experience that, and so from there.
So then you launched from there, you sort of launched your business?
No, not from there. I actually there was like change of management and stuff, and I ended up leaving that cafe, and I thought, okay, I knew I wanted to start my own business, like, of how I felt in the kitchen and creating was just like so enjoyable. But I didn't right then. I actually opened just Osek Pator, created a name slowly after that. I started working at a different restaurant. Actually was working in the back, just to get some kitchen experience until my back just couldn't have any more of it. So it didn't last long. I had gotten actually like an injury in the kitchen, like herniated disc. So it was like, okay, I can't work there anymore. But anyways, what happened was, in this time, I opened up Osek Pator. I opened up, I had a name, but I wasn't actually doing anything for it because I didn't know how. I was very scared. How do you where do you start from?
Did you have any business experience? Have you ever run a business or anything like that before?
I've never run a business, no. I'm still learning, and I also have doing business here. It's much different than doing a business in the States.
So that's something that just to interrupt, that's something I always speak about, that I know for myself, right, who opened a business, and for people I've interviewed, right, it's one thing to open up, a business in New Mexico where you know the culture, you know the language, right, and sort of you recognize it, but to open up a business in a
Yeah,
foreign
or the
country
States in general. Yeah.
is really hard. Different language, completely different culture. So how did you find that whole process?
Yeah, I think I move slowly through it and I take one step at a time. I think a lot of fears come up and it's a lot about I could tell I have a business sense, and especially like I love to like I love like the consulting part of it. When I love consulting friends on businesses, it's like so much fun. So I do have some sense when it comes to it. But when it comes to myself, I can know everything, like things I should do, but I really get held back by like fear and, so it's a more of a mental thing. So it's always like one step at a time. I like know things, but I can't, like, it's about like really like stepping up into your power. So yeah, so in times like, in times you feel you could do it, and times like you kind of are like, you don't feel the same energy. But so it's a lot about like it's a lot mostly mental, actually, mostly mental, I
That's what
would
you
say.
find. That's interesting.
And then also like when I think about like, okay, where I want to go and what I want to do, okay, it's also about like, okay, who is it? Like sometimes you don't know exactly who, like what you should talk to create something. I don't know. Like it's mostly mental, I would say.
And so but you were able to sort of take the plunge, right? You were able to
I was
conquer your
able
fears
to
and
take,
sort of open up, and you did it.
yeah. So what happened before I had like any business, I never put out a menu, nothing. It's, when I think back on it, I think it actually is pretty insane. I I saw that like Michal Ansky was like engaged or getting married or something. I don't know. I think I just wrote her a message on Instagram and I said, hey, like I could do desserts for your wedding. And she like I thought like, okay, she has like so many followers. I didn't expect that her to remember me. I didn't expect the message to even be read, but it was. And she responded right away. And she like, they started talking to me and the wedding planner and all these. And, it all happened out of my home kitchen that that I stepped into that. I was just like, I'm doing that no matter what. So I took on like a big job, just me alone. And it was really fun. And I didn't even have a business. Like it was crazy. Yeah.
And
Really
how
amazing.
did you manage your business through Corona? How did that like impact you?
That was the first time. So at the beginning of Corona, I had gotten into like I started a relationship with my now husband, and we were we were both like, oh my gosh, we're not working, we don't know what to do. Like I was working actually at a bar in my old neighborhood, if you know Kerem Hatamanim in Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working there and then Corona hit. And when Corona hit, we were both like without jobs. He was also doing real estate, so like everything closed. And when I had met him, he asked me like what I did. And my first response always, even when I wasn't, that I didn't put a menu for it or anything, I always had vegan chef, because that's what I felt inside. Like I'm a vegan chef. I'm working at a bar, but I'm a vegan chef. This is what my actual, who I am. So when we started Corona, he just said, hey, like, why don't you just put out a menu? Like, so I was like scared, but he like pushed me a bit too, because I thought, oh, what are people gonna think, and what if, like, and I just did it. So that from there, he just like had a lot of encouragement for me in the process of doing that in Corona. So that's when I officially I feel I started my business like at the beginning of Corona, because before I just had a nosek pator. I didn't even do anything with it.
So you just sort of started taking private orders and deliveries and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and actually, before that, I was on Mischachei Chef before Corona. Like it aired right before Corona had begun, or it was airing also at the beginning. So that was also a crazy story. Yeah, so I'll share that as well. I was working at the bar in Camp Hatamani. It was a really cute bar called Munis, and I was just working there, and suddenly like these two recruiters, or for the show, they started like, I was asked them, would you like to sit? And I wasn't working in the back, I was working as a waitress. Um, and they said, no, we're just looking for interesting chefs with an interesting story, and people like that have talent for making unique things. And do you know of anyone in the neighborhood like that does this? And I said, well, I'm a chef, like, and they were like, oh my, they got so excited. They were like, you have to come to the audition. You have to come to the audition. So they kept on calling me. They called a few times to like make sure I was gonna come. And then I just like came to the audition. There were so many people, and I guess they do like auditions for like 8 or 9 months before, like thousands of people. So I was at the end of the cycle, and yeah, I auditioned the one time. They wanted me to come back, then they wanted me to come back again, and then it was the filming. So it was a really fun experience. I never had seen the show before that, and I didn't really even know what it was or anything. So that was a really that was cool. Yeah. And I didn't have a business at that time.
Right. So let me ask you a question as we're wrapping things up.
Yeah.
For olim who come, right? Olim who comes, you're in as you've eloquently put it out, you're in the rat race, right? But you've always had a dream, right? To start your own business.
Yeah.
Would you tell them to go for it and start their business? Like, a tip or two that you might have to give them?
For sure, if it's a dream, they should for sure try. Yes, they should go for it. If it's a business they already had in the States, I don't think it will be, I think they'll be fine. If it's a new business, you probably just have to like overcome some fears, and in order to like be a little bit more confident, you should maybe have like a side job. I was working like kind of a second job, like as I was building mine. So I think always like having something where you feel stability is like an amazing thing. And also as I'm growing, I'm really flexible in trying a lot of different things within the food world. Like I know where I want to go, and I'm not there yet, but I'm going towards it. And I'm also like now doing like catering for events and retreats, which originally I never thought I would be doing that, but I love that part of it, because I love to like connect with the people in the community, and that gives me like a different perspective into the food world. So I'm doing that along with like doing orders, and I think like that part is like, if you're starting, don't be scared, like try out different things within your industry, like kind of like test out if it's a completely new thing. You never know where you'll end up. Be open to every opportunity that comes your way.
Rachel, thanks so much for coming on. How can people be in touch with you?
So people could be in touch with me via Instagram, sweetbynature_CO. And by Facebook, I have a page on Facebook, Sweet by Nature. So, and also like, yeah, those are the two best ways right now.
Great. So for people who are looking for tasty vegan foods,
tasty vegan sweets. I don't use like any processed sugar, and it's without gluten, so it's healthy sweets. And also I do full-on catering. So
cool. Very good. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
You've been tuning in to the Erin Katzman Show. We speak about your life, your money, and your investments. Be sure to hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, hit the subscribe button and tell your spouse, your significant other, your kids, everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.